a partner, how to transition from partners. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be asking you questions. Are we good?
And we're live.
Hey, you guys.
Action.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.
Our kids tried to tell us there was no school today on Earth Day, and I was like, I don't know about that. But
Double check that, people. Double check.
yeah.
No school?
Every day's a holiday these days. Anyhow, thank you guys for joining us. We're really trying to figure out our way here in the world of YouTubers, and obviously this is not our strong suit, but we're working through it. But we thought today we'd try a new format, and I was thinking the show could be called Best Practices, and short form, 15 to 20 minutes, because we can ramble forever. I know
Why
that
is this
about
not
us.
our strong suit? Why are we going that direction?
I've gotten some feedback that we're long and rambling, and we make great sense sometimes.
Was that family?
It was family, but family is honest. So it was our family in Australia, and I love you very much for
That's
saying that. But it's
awesome.
true. I mean, we need feedback. We want to be great, but we want to give value. And so I thought we've been through so much. We've learned the hard way a lot. We've lived the good times, and I thought we could have a show around best practices that we can share wisdom with you guys. You like that?
Yes, still learning and growing every single day.
Forever. And so anyhow, so that's the new format. It should be short and sweet, and our producer Lisa is going to keep us on time. But to start, you guys, we want to just have a little bit mini celebration because we are on day 3 of our P1440 virtual training camp. We have 250 plus campers going through a 4-week training block, and it's been incredible. Yeah.
So fun. Holy smokes. I'm in the editing world right now and the producing and filming world, and it is exhausting to say the least, but it's so exciting once you see the product hit and people are enjoying it and they're getting what they should be getting out of it, and it's just really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total commitment. We ask you guys to commit to us for 4 weeks, and we give you 4 weeks of really great, amazing programming. We have strength training, we have mindfulness training, we clearly have volleyball training, and it comes together for a really wonderful package. So we want to encourage you guys to go to p1440.camp. Round 2, there's a wait list started, and it's filling up fast. So if you want to join us, it's for all ages, all levels. Anyone who's curious about how to train at home, from and learn from some of the best in the world, sign up.
And
Check
you're
us out.
able to provide feedback, send us videos, send us the drills that you're doing, what you like. Tell us about how sore you are. It's so fun to see all of the interaction.
Yeah.
And I think that it's for everyone. Even if you don't play volleyball, there's
Yeah.
drills for you without a volleyball, and doing leg workouts and upper body and full body movements. It's just, it's for anybody and everybody. So get your parents involved. Parents, get yourselves involved, and come check it out.
Yeah, I had a goal of learning something major new during this time of quarantine, and so maybe one of you guys want to pick up volleyball for the first time. It's a great place to start. It's really fun, so we cordially invite you guys. But let's get to the topic at hand, shall we? The partner hunt. It was kind of fun for me to think about this. They've been re-airing a couple of Olympics, and they've been showing Mystical, the turtle, and I play a couple times, and it brings back so many memories.
The turtle.
The turtle. And so I want to talk about 3 things today, since we have a short amount of time. I want to talk about how to find a partner, how to keep a partner, and then how to move on from a partner. They're all very delicate things, and I think we talk to a lot of juniors here, or a lot of semi-pros who are just looking to find the right partner. So where would you say is a good place to start?
A good place to start is how to find one. Is sometimes you don't find one, they can find you because of what you're doing, because of your actions individually, how hard you're working. You used to go down to the beach and scrimmage all day long with different partners, and people used to look and kind of check each other out and feel each other out. So I think getting to the beach, competing in tournaments, amateur tournaments, and getting to know other athletes is a good way to find one. But there's a lot more work after that. When you do find one, there's an interview process. It's very extensive. Or you don't have the choice. Maybe you're not the one choosing, but you're the one proving to somebody that, hey, you need to play with me. But it's a crazy world in beach volleyball, and I have certainly made poor decisions, and I think other people have made poor decisions on regarding me and choosing another partner. So it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So your recommendation is play with a lot of people to figure it out and to be seen.
Yep.
I like that.
Be seen.
You know, I think it's so interesting, especially in the world of juniors and semi-pro. We all want that right partner, right? And I think we're so eager to commit and be like, we're partners forever. But you didn't really put the time into date or to see what else is out there, which is so important. Because I never, ever wanted to be, and I thank goodness I never have been, the person who's like looking over my shoulder being like, oh my gosh, I should have talked to that girl. I should have played with that girl. And so I think the beautiful thing to do within this process is make it a process. Like, go out and play with other people. Like Casey said, go, you know, set up a training session, bring 8 girls or boys, and just go play and play around robin. When I first came out, Misty was, you know, she was training with Holly McPeak still, and so I got a chance to play with other people. And not only did I learn something about myself, I learned how to be more adaptable, but I got to know people. And I think getting to know people within the community is one of the harder things, because our community is pretty territorial. Like, I'm from this club, or I'm from this beach, this is my street. And so anything you can do to break through and to be seen and to make relationships, I think that's going to allow you to start a sincere partnership.
Yeah. And how many times do you go, oh my gosh, me and that person would be so awesome. It would just be, when something is too easy in life in general, it's probably usually too good to be true. There's not the case.
So cynical.
There are some cases where it's really easy and you're really successful at it. But I mean, like, oftentimes in beach volleyball and in life, you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be perfect, this, and this. And then you lift up the hood and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what did I just get into? What am I doing? This person is out of their mind.
Yeah.
Or,
well, a lot of people like try to find their partner based on what it looks like on paper. You know, and if you're only looking at the stats or the biometrics or whatever it is, like, you're leaving out, in my opinion, the most important stuff, which is the heart and the grit and the love and the perseverance and the vibe between you. You know, like, I've played with some amazing people and the vibe's been really hard, and that's something you cannot fake and you can try to work through, but if it's not there fundamentally, that makes your life a little bit harder. So that's why the process of kind of playing with other people, going through the dating process is so important.
But a lot of people too, at the professional level and down through the amateur, they look at the point and their last finishes, and that is a train wreck.
True.
Because if you're just going, oh, that person, me and him are going to be in the draw and we're going to be ranked 9th, it's like just showing up to get that shirt and being like, I'm in the draw. I had a friend of mine that called me and said, I hadn't played in 2 years. He said, we're going to be in the qualifier. And I was like, and? Who cares? Let's win the whole tournament. He goes, if I play with so-and-so, we're going to be ranked like 10 or 8 or 7 around there. And I said, look, man, you're going to get an 8th or 7th or 17th with that person. We're going to win the tournament. And he went and played with that other guy. I've seen this happen a ton. And I stayed home because I didn't want to play. I just didn't feel I had other options that I could have won the tournament. He called me back and said, I think that was the worst decision I ever made in my career. I wish we would have played together. And I said, well, maybe we'll get another shot down the road. But not just about me, but I have done the same thing. I've looked and been like, I'm going to be in the... Don't do it. Yeah. Play with the person you're going to win with and play the best with if you're the last team in the qualifier. Because
you're chasing something you have no control of instead of building something with somebody.
Yeah, and that person's grounded. You play best together instead of, oh, we're just going to get a 9th and I'm guaranteed $200. Like, no matter what, I'm in the draw. Like, come on.
Yikes.
But we do
play to win.
We do it. Play to win.
You know, I think a valuable part of this conversation to have is what you know to be important within a partnership. You know, there's this quote that I love, that each person brings out a different beast in you. And if I close my eyes and I think about the partners that I've been fortunate enough to have, it makes me smile and it gives me the chills when I think about Brooke, because it's like there's something inside of me that's developing that's going to be gnarly because of the woman I've chosen to play with and what we're committed, the goal we're committed to working toward. You know, and I think it's so important when you partner with somebody, you have to have respect, right? You have to respect their game. You have to respect who they are as a human. You have to accept who they are. fundamentally, because you can't want to change someone. It's like marriage. Like if you're trying to change me, we're in trouble. You know,
Think
same thing
about
with a
that for a
partnership.
minute, though. You will go into a partnership and you will want that person to be like you and to be
Yeah.
as competitive as you in the same way. But
Mhm.
you don't know if they're competitive as you because they're just different. They show it in different ways. I used to
Yeah.
get so mad at my partners thinking, why doesn't he want this? What is it that's not like, I'm like in this, I'm passionate, I'm doing everything I need to do. They're doing it in the way they think oftentimes is the best way to do it, and they're doing it their way. Some people are just lazy. There's a difference between that. Right?
Sure, yeah. But I think when you celebrate each other and you accept each other,
Yes.
you do you, you know, I'm going to do me, and then it's like you empower each other to like come together and to create this ultimate like greatness machine, you know, because I have been made more brave by my partners and more willing to try to new things, you know, and sometimes like I get so loud and so excited, but Misty was like, she chilled me out. All of my major partners have chilled me out because they have a sense of stillness within, and they're Jedis. They allow me to be me, but they also allow me to breathe. And so I was gonna say, pick someone who compliments you, not who copies. You know, not that you a carbon copy of you. Because if there are two of me on the court, that would not
You
be
kill
good.
each other.
You kill each
And there'd
other.
be two
Be
turtles on the
obnoxious.
court. They'd put each other to sleep.
It doesn't work. So yeah. So I want someone who's gonna fill my holes, and I can fill her holes, and who I believe that we can grow together. And the growing together part is the most important thing, and that leads us to the next part of the conversation: is how do you keep a great partnership going? Because inevitably, every partnership has ups and downs. You know.
You're kind of rushing. I want to
Sorry,
talk
we have
about
20
the
minutes.
synergy
I'm so sorry.
of two partners. It creates synergy when you take care of yourself and they take care of yourself, and you
Okay.
trust in it.
Okay.
When you trust in that synergy that you bring two individuals together, then you can blend together by understanding and appreciating each other, and talking through those endeavors that you've either gone through or you're going to go through.
Yeah.
It's really important to do that. So I don't want to miss that little piece.
So you like to do that at the beginning?
Well, I think it happens with time. You're going to get really frustrated. You're going to be upset with partners. But what category is that in? Are you frustrated because they chomp their cereal loud, or are you frustrated because they don't lift weights? There's a big difference. Me, I look back in my career, I chose guys that had potential because of how much talent they had over the blue collar guy that works his butt off as hard as I did. And I chose the talented guy sometimes, believing that he was going to be able to be a hard worker and to change what he was at that moment. We could develop him into somebody by using all the resources that we had. Doesn't work, but like 1% out of like 1,000, it doesn't work. You have to take the guy that's obsessed over the guy that's talented and shows up with a 12
Well, how do you know?
Because you know they're not lifting weights. If they show up 10 minutes late to practice with their keys and a water bottle this big, and you bring balls, lines, and antennas, then you have to have a conversation about it. Like, if they're not lifting weights and you're lifting weights for 2 hours, 3-4 days a week, or 2 days a week, whatever it is your program is, and you're doing those things and they're not,
Yeah.
you gotta pros and cons, balance,
Yeah.
and figure that out. 'Cause
So,
it's a big deal.
so how they live their lives, the effort they're putting, not that it has to be equal or the same, but it has to be there. Because that's a trust thing, right? Like it's so nice to have a partnership, a marriage, a partnership in the court where you trust your person. Like, I'm going to go and work hard. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to make our collective lives better by what I do. And I trust that you're going to do the same. So you don't have to micromanage, you know? And Misty and I did most stuff separate. April and I did most stuff separate. Brooke and I too. And part of me now, where I'm at my career, I wish Brooke and I would do more stuff together, and we're going to work on that. But it's a beautiful thing when you just inherently know that your partner's a worker, she's committed, he's committed, and they're doing what they need to do to prepare themselves.
Yep, maximizing their potential. All the other stuff is just part of life. You're going to get frustrated on the way some people tie their shoes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just try to, what's most important. Then the third one.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
Real quick.
sorry.
So when you're in it, right, we both have had very long-term relationships, right? You and Maddie. Me and
Well, in high
Misty.
school, I
Yeah.
dated. I'm just kidding. I'm just
No one before me.
I'm
What?
kidding.
Ugh.
I know what you're
That's
saying.
so
I
rude.
was wanted to play around. So I had Furby for 8 years. I played with him 7 to 8 years.
Yeah, and it wasn't all smooth sailing. And
No.
you guys were different. So what are some best practices? But you guys believed inherently that you guys could win, and that kept you going. And you guys loved each other clearly.
We
Like I was
could've-
your number one fan. I don't know if you knew that. I don't
did.
think I missed a match.
And I was yours. And we invested in ourselves in weightlifting and training and like brain training at later. But we could have invested in a sports psychologist earlier in our team. And we would have benefited greatly, I think, if we would have been open to listening to that, because oftentimes I was like, why does he do this? And then Furby was like, he's got too emotional, he gets fired up, or we needed help. And so that investment to a sports psychologist would have been very helpful, but we figured it out later, and we won the Manhattan Open together in 2013, and we beat the number one team in the world 2 times, and it wasn't the win, it wasn't the Manhattan Open, it was the way that we played and the comfortableness that we had as individuals and together, and the trust. It was one of the greatest things that, like, I don't know how to explain it, because it's not the fact that we won the Manhattan Open, it was how we did it, and that journey through that tournament that was so incredibly sound and focused. And I'm sure you've had that, but I mean, it was just a complete win overall, and all the things that we learned and the moss that we picked up going down river for so many years, it all came together and was a beautiful, beautiful moment with my best friend Scotty Lane and Furby.
Yeah.
And then you winning on the same day. It was just the stars aligned for many reasons. It wasn't luck.
But you and Maddie had gone through 8 years plus of gnarliness and growing together, and we have to wrap. Something I wanted to say is that the best teams that I've ever been on have been the most connected teams. And I'm not the best communicator. My partners, we've communicated had different styles, but the more layers we can go under in the relationship, the more hard conversations that we can have to try to understand each other, or to try to understand where the frustrations come from. Because generally there's a presumption behind a frustration. You're presuming I think this when I do this, when in reality it's like, no, it's this. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the teams who can have the hard conversations and be honest with each other, that just develops a lot of trust. And trust allows you to be brave, it allows you to be vulnerable, and therefore it allows you to be stronger together. So that's a beautiful thing. And then super quick, how do you when you know the partnership's over, like you have no more faith in the team, you've given it your all, what's one thing you can do to transition to the next one? Like it's even just breaking up. Like how would you recommend to people, how do you break up with a partner respectfully?
You call them and you sit down with them and you
Yes.
get on the phone with them. You don't hear it through another person that they're playing with somebody else that weekend, which happens in the sport. And if that does happen, you have to let it roll off and say, well, whatever, man. I'm not gonna hate that person's guts and make this big excuse. What are they doing? If they do that, that's just bad etiquette. They made a mistake. If you're in control of that, call the person, say, hey man, it's not working out. Hey, it's just not working out, and I gotta play. I don't know who I'm playing with, or you do know who you're playing with. Regardless, that details, but you have to be the one to call them and say, let's talk.
99% of the time, you guys, that doesn't happen, and it's just such an unnecessary, rude thing to do. It's some of the hardest things I've ever done in my life is having to go and talk to someone who I care about, being like, this isn't working. It's heartbreaking. It's hard as a human to do that, but it's like living your truth, which is we're all here to do that. So sometimes you have to do the hard things to progress in life, and hopefully you do it with grace, and everyone ultimately understands.
Give them it's not you, it's me.
Well, generally that's always the case.
It's not
because your
you.
issues are not mine. It's the way I handle
Yeah.
your issues.
Oh my gosh, I could do so much better with this person. You just have to bring the facts. Like, we're not doing well. I don't feel great. We've played this through. We've communicated. We've tried. it's just not working out. But I really think that we could be even better friends when our partnership's not going on. And
Yeah.
the beautiful thing is you can always come back together and bring it back.
If you break up right. If you don't, you have no chance.
Yeah, then you just hate each other. But you'll play each other the next weekend in the next
Yeah.
tournament when you do split up.
So real quick, last thing, I just want to say, if you believe in something but it's hard, like if you believe in a partnership and it's hard, go through it together. Give everything you've got, because then you can move on with a clear conscience and a clear heart. Don't do it too early. Don't do it too late. Try to find that sweet spot. Easier said than done, but good luck. Thank you guys so much. Oh, questions. Okay, we got a couple questions. I didn't.
Yeah, we have a lot of really good questions.
Oh, heck. Sorry for rushing. I can't help it.
This is from Elena Treja. How important is it to spend time off the court with your partner? Does it matter if we are not close friends?
Oh, I love this question.
I told Kerri, now that I'm coaching her and Brooke with Kildai, a Brazilian friend of ours and coach, is that you guys come to work and you clock in and you work together, and you don't spend enough time off of the court eating lunch and hanging out and just doing things together. So we all talked about it as a team, and Brooke raised her hand and Kerri, and we talked about it, and they said we're going to have a once a week barbecue at our house with our kids and us together as a team, and then we're going to have meetings once a week also on top of that, I think, as a team, so that we have that time together.
Yeah.
I think that it's so important. I think that it's huge in your success as a team, and the groundedness that you have together, and that you realize that it's not just this sport you have together, but outside of it there's a true bond and a friendship and a connection.
Yeah. Well, Casey made a great point when he suggested more time off the court together. He's like, when you guys show up to be with each other, it's either training time or competition time, and those are all very stressful times. And so you're kind of on guard and you're just stressed out. And so he's like, why don't you take the pressure off of that and go hang out? I love Brooke. I drive her crazy. I know that. I think the more we hang out, we'll be more comfortable together. And so I really appreciated that perspective. I don't think you need to be best friends. I think you need to have some depth to your relationship. So have real conversations, go have tea once in a while, but ultimately just have play and connection time within your training, and that's a beautiful thing. One more?
I have more. This is from Meli Fabia Coral Blagovic, if I pronounced that right. How do you turn those hard conversations into chemistry on the court?
Man, it's awesome. First of all, just the commitment and the respect to have hard conversations, to me, shows a lot. If I'm having hard conversations that I need to have a Casey with other people, that's disrespecting him, and it's disrespecting our partnership. So the moment I suck it up and be like, I owe him the respect of having this conversation, there is going to be a connection there. I learned through our sports psychologist, he said, Kerri, don't be afraid to get in conflict. He said conflict brings clarity, and it also brings intimacy, which is depth in a relationship. So it's, might not translate right away because you might be frustrated, but just stay connected. If you can stay connected in the good and the hard times, even if it's a little bit wonky during the hard times, it's better than just being pissed off and not talking about it. If the conversation isn't done, keep talking about it until you guys are in a good space for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to fight. You're going to get in arguments, especially high level, and you're going to be professionals. You're going to butt heads. That's okay. We've learned that means you care.
Yeah.
When you stop arguing or butting heads, you don't care. That shows that, it could be getting closer to the end than you know. But I've had a tournament that Furby and I won together. We've gotten the biggest fight of our careers. We lost the match to a really good team, and I didn't feel we played with any energy, and me and him went underneath the bleachers of the stadium and got in this huge, massive argument. During that argument, we realized that each of us had a different way of showing their appreciation for the other in that argument, and we won the tournament. We came back through the losers bracket in Seaside and won 6 straight matches or something. Your feet are on the couch.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, third and last. Yeah, thank you.
Third and last. Taylor Ford has messaged twice, so thank you,
Oh.
Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
What are some key signs that your partner and you are not working out?
that you're not winning. I mean, isn't that true? I mean, to a certain degree, if
Yeah.
you're
I mean, fundamentally, I think winning is forward progress. And so there's wins in the win column, but there's also like daily wins where you're incrementally getting better. You know, sometimes it's not team chemistry, but you're building something together. And so I think as long as you're, constantly progressing, even if it's like by the millimeter, those are wins. If you get to the point where you're looking over your shoulder, or you find yourself complaining too much, or you don't want to engage in the relationship, or the vibe is just so toxic and you try to address it but it's not working, then perhaps the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't mean to say not winning like literally matches. If you're just not winning in any aspect of it together as a partnership, like your wins could be losing a close match 21-19, 23-21, and you lose in two, but you're battling, and then the next tournament you win a match and then you lose a match and you're progressing. But if you're just getting hammered left and right, and slaughtered. And one thing to remember for people out there is we're watching the Michael Jordan series that's on every Sunday. It's called The Last Dance. And Steve Kerr said something in this interview on the show where he said that, we were winning a lot. Like the Bulls, we were killing it for 3 years straight or whatever, 2.5 years. This was their like sixth chance to win a championship, and they started the season out 0-4. And when you're a really good team and you're as good as the Bulls were back then, or Kerri and Misty, if Kerri and Misty lost 4 straight matches in a row, do you know what the difference in that feels like to them versus like me, who's playing at a high level as well? Like going 0-4 would drive me crazy. It could absolutely crush their entire partnership, if you see what I mean. So like, they wouldn't have been devastated them personally, like they would have hung in there together because of all the wins. But when you're winning and winning and winning, a one loss feels like the world is coming to an end. So if you're the opposite and you're not winning a lot but you're progressing, hang in there.
I think also just fundamentally ask if you guys want the same things. Because maybe one partner wants one thing and the other partner wants another. I feel like I've been able to have great success with my partnerships, with my marriage, because we're always looking in the same way. If we were both looking different ways, wanting different things, that's trouble. And so you can do things differently on the way to the where you're going, but you got to be wanting the same things and working toward the same things fundamentally. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. That's it. We will see you next Wednesday. Go check out P1440.camp. The 4-week training block is rad. We have a wait list open. There's a couple spots left, but it's awesome, you guys. It's so fantastic. We appreciate you. God bless. Godspeed. Stay healthy. Next week. See you then.
Keep believing out there. It's tough times, but keep your head up. We're all doing it.